Today we will talk about history of sustainable development. But actually, how did we get interested in the impact of human activity on the environment in the first place? According to many authors, this was due to the awakening of public opinion in the 1960s, when the media began to develop and therefore people in many countries began to receive various information, not only of a local or national but also global nature. Information on ecological disasters and the related threats to the population has aroused the conviction of global responsibility for even local changes in the environment. The particularly observed images began to affect people's imagination and fear of what further human activity could cause. The second reason is the response to technological progress, the ecological crisis, and the green ideas of the second half of the 1960s. Then, in 1969, UTAT, a member of the United Nations, prepared the document Man and the Environment, in which he described the problems related to the overuse of green areas by man, the current quality of the natural environment, and the consequences of further abuse of the natural environment by humans. Then, in 1972, the Worldwide Human Environment Conference was convened in Stockholm. In the same year, the report of the Club of Rome, Limits to Growth, was also created. This report places a special emphasis on the catastrophic effects of human impact on the environment and the issue of resource depletion. In this context, the concept of zero growth, for example, freezing economic growth, was proposed as a strategy for the survival of humanity. Although the report aroused a lot of controversy, it did start discussions on development problems at the global level. The term sustainable development was first used in public in the first half of the 70s. Probably first used the term SD was by Barbara Ward, founder of the International Institute for Environment and Development. This was followed in 1987 by the Brundtland Report entitled Our Common Future. In the same year, the first definition of sustainable development was created by the World Commission for Environment and Development of the United Nations. The report not only showed the negative effects of global development, but also drew attention to successes such as education, including the reduction of illiteracy or the reduction of hunger thanks to food production. The year 1992 was very important for the idea of sustainable development. During the United Nations conference in Rio de Janeiro entitled Environment and Development, Earth Summit, 5 actions were taken. First, Rio de Janeiro Declaration with the principles as a basis for further actions carried out jointly by countries. Second, Global Program of Action, Agenda 21st, as a set of recommendations for environmental protection. Third, Framework Convention on Climate Change, which discussed in particular the reduction of greenhouse gas emissions. Fourth, Convention on Biological Diversity, including the protection of fauna and flora. Fifth, Declaration of Principles of Cooperation for the Development, Protection and Use of all Forests. 10 years later, in 2002, another important event took place. The Earth Summit in Johannesburg. During this event, the current activities and functioning of the adopted goals and their verification, including the need to update the goals and principles, were discussed. Then, after another 10 years, the Earth Summit in Rio de Janeiro, with the participation of representatives of all countries, take place. The main goal of this conference was to verify activities and determine further goals. In 2015, United Nations members adopted the currently implemented resolution "We are transforming our world" in the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, which was set out in the World Development Strategy until 2030. It contains 17 Sustainable Development Goals, to which 169 tasks have been assigned.